What's up, fellas? How we doing? Welcome, everyone, to Pick Central on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. Today, I feel like the office is a ghost town. Looking around, there's a huge mini golf tournament on Long Island that I think claimed just about everybody. But we still got TJ and Za here producing, and we've still got a full hour-packed show planned for you guys. We're going to take phone calls. So here's the plan for today. I called upon the beautiful and lovely Money Shots crew to help me out. We're going to start with Megan Making Money here in a second. Kelly in Vegas is going to join us. We're going to talk some NFL, kind of looking ahead to the season. Chris Castellani, my Omaha running mate, is going to join us as well. We're going to have a British Open golf preview with golf's fourth major starting tomorrow. And then we're going to take your calls at 1-888-STOOL-22 in the second half of the show. As always, appreciate Za and TJ for being around and helping to steer the ship. With that, we're going to go ahead and start with Megan Making Money, my Louisiana counterpart. She's on the line to start the show. Megan, how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. How are you, Destroyer? How was your World Series of Poker? Haven't heard from you.
Yeah, it was good. It was as good as it could go without actually making the money or making a deep run. I busted day two, but I felt real good about the effort on day two. And look, you know what? It's kind of one of those things when you work for Barstool. I mean, I'm in the business of getting clicks and getting attention, and when you get to play on the feature table with Phil Ivey on day one, that gets a lot of clicks and attention. So I would say pretty overwhelming success because of that.
Well, yeah, I would count it as a success. Anything you're at is definitely top tier mint.
Yeah. So Megan, how is your summer going? I heard it's quite. I'm not missing the Louisiana heat. I'm hearing it's quite brutal right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. If you step outside, your face melts off. It's humid, it's gross, but at least I have a backyard and I'm not shoved in a 10-can apartment. So I got to be thankful for what I have down here. But yeah, everything's been going good. Just been doing a lot of stuff with the kids before they start back school, and have a vacation planned. Well, not a vacation, but just a little getaway plan before they start school up to one of the places you like over in North Carolina. So going to be over there in like 2 weeks.
Nice. Well, let's get into. So I know this time of year you love the Major League Baseball. You do your daily gambling picks. How's this time of year going for you? And how I'm ready to talk some baseball.
Well, to be quite transparent, it's the dog days of summer. It's up and down every single day. I'll go a week where I have an awesome week and I think that I know exactly how things are going. And then I have a week like this week where it's like I'm lucky if I even win one out of my 3 bets that I'm putting out a day. But you got to keep on grinding. You're not going to get anywhere not putting out your bets. And here I am just still trying to get through MLB before I start with my NFL and college football, which I am definitely excited about because I feel like I might actually can find an edge there. Because right now I'm not finding very many over in the MLB.
Well, I do want to mention I saw 4th of July you were over at the lovely Penn property, LeBears Lake Charles. How was that?
It was fantastic. Obviously, how great that location is. The sports book is absolutely beautiful. Whether it's the GM Harold over there, he's great, or anybody, whether it's Garen, whoever it is taking care of you is absolutely phenomenal. I got to go check out the pool finally. I know that you got to check out the lazy river before I got to, so I was finally able to get in there. Absolutely wonderful. Food is so fantastic. I finally got to try the Asian restaurant last time I was there, and it was phenomenal. It was the best egg rolls I think I've ever had in my life.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was really great, and the Astros hit the run line 2 out of the 3 days that I was there. So was super happy. Got some Astros fans there. Had some people come over and say what's up. So it was definitely a good time.
Yeah, so that's the LeBears Lake Charles, especially for you Houston people. Unbelievable Penn property. So much fun. That is where I did that Lazy River video earlier this year. That was a lot of fun. All right, let's get to some picks today. Actually, before we get to picks today, you're a big Astros fan. They're having a really good season. How are you feeling about them right now?
I'm feeling good. I feel like they're, regardless to how good the Yankees have been and, the Braves being defending champs. I think the Astros, it's their year. Their baby and Jordan right now, he's on the IL with a minor hand issue. But I absolutely love this team. They have so much heart and so much grit. Jeremy Pena stepping in for Carlos Correa, since that he's been traded away. I've absolutely fallen in love with that kid. Verlander's been holding it down since he's got back from the IL. I love this Astros team. So, especially today, whenever, it's really tough to pass on the Astros, even though I know Ohtani's pitching today and then, it's divisional, you can't pass on the Astros at this price.
Well, that's funny you bring that up because the Astros are on my card today. They're plus a little, like slight underdog, plus 102. Kind of they've been going against Ohtani pitching a little. Like I feel like he's a good pitcher and he's one of the best hitters. I mean, if not the best hitter in baseball. I feel like maybe he's a little overvalued when he's a pitcher, if that makes sense.
I mean, he's definitely a freak. I will give complete respect to Ohtani. I mean, who the fuck goes out there and throws like shutout innings and then also goes and hits home runs the same games? Ohtani does, and it's absolutely insane. However, I agree with you. I think, he's a little, maybe a little overvalued only because of him and not because of the Angels lineups. Again, Astros are on my card today. I'm always going to take them whenever I find some value. I got them plus 110 this morning. So getting the Astros on the money line at plus money to me, it's literally music to my ears. I know that they don't hit Ohtani very well, but I think they're going to catch up to him at some point. And not to mention the Angels haven't been like an offensive, firehouse by any means. They haven't scored more than 5 runs in like 17 games. So I don't know. I just feel like if we can get to Ohtani, that's a game that the Astros can win today.
I'm getting just slammed on the chat because Ohtani has been pitching awesome the last few weeks, and they're right.
He has been, yeah.
Oh yeah, he hadn't allowed a run. He's hadn't allowed a run since June the 9th. That's pretty damn good. So I might actually look at the under a little more. Javier, had that no-hitter in Yankee Stadium a couple weeks ago. I guess it was a couple weeks ago now. So it should be a good pitching matchup tonight. Have you started looking at football stuff for fall yet? Have you started the preparation?
No, I have not. Usually that's my counterpart on Money Shots, Kelly. She's probably like dick deep in football right now because she doesn't really cat baseball too much, and that's kind of where I have to come in and try to pick up Money Shots for this time of the year because it's pretty much the only thing on besides Summer League, and I don't bet Summer League. So I have a feeling that she's probably got some futures or some futures and totals for you guys, but I do not. I am just all in on baseball.
So what are your plays for today for everyone following?
All right. So again, I haven't been, I wouldn't say the hottest, but also I'm out here making it, guys. So take these with a grain of salt. I like the White Sox today. It's Giolito versus Savali. I haven't looked, but Tim Anderson just like rakes him. So if you can get him over a hit or over a hit and a half, I think that would be a good play too. But I think you have with Moncada back in, with Eloy back in, you're getting a big power bump back into the White Sox lineup. I know they haven't been the White Sox that we knew from last year, but I think this is a good spot to play Giolito, and he can get right here. I think that the White Sox will be able to get to Savali.
Yeah, I'm curious, do you think the White Sox are going to get it together in the second half of the year? I know they've had a lot of injuries, but it seems like they've kind of had a season from hell a little bit. Very high.
Honestly, I personally don't think so, but I'm just not a humongous fan of their rotation. I don't doubt that the bats can get going because they do have some really strong power hitters on that team. But right now, it seems like they have a great puzzle, if you will, but they just can't figure out how to put the pieces together.
Well, Megan, I just want to say I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer and looking forward to some football this fall. Are you going to be attending the LSU-Florida State game in New Orleans on Labor Day Sunday night, the Superdome? Is that on your calendar?
I have not made plans of it as of yet, but if you're going to be down there, I would definitely love to try to make an appearance.
There was a phone call last night from one of my best friends about it that offered me a 12th row 50-yard line ticket that I'm not going to say no to. So suddenly the LSU-Florida State Sunday night Labor Day weekend game is going to be prominently on the calendar. I wasn't planning on it, but hey, starting the football season in NOLA with LSU, I mean, how can we not? I think we got to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'll have to check around and see if I have any friends. I'm not been meant, but I mean, maybe I can pull a rabbit out of a hat here or there. But yeah, that's I don't have anything else really on the docket. I know obviously LSU Ole Miss I'll be at, LSU Mississippi State I'll be at, trying to be at LSU Bama obviously. But those are the only three that I have like circled, highlighted, and like have to find a way to get to.
Yeah, I've like gone through my fall schedule and started making it out, and that Ole Miss LSU is obvious. I like never miss Ole Miss LSU and never will, as long as I can be alive. But yeah, I've been excited getting the calendar out, but I'm going to try to make that LSU Florida State. Well, Megan, thanks for joining us here on Pick Central. Money Shots starts at 2 Eastern, I believe, and you're on right now. It's Monday, Wednesday, and are y'all doing Friday or Saturday on the third one?
Right now, it's just Monday and Wednesday during the dog days of summer because it's really tough to talk baseball during the summer, let alone have anyone listen to you talk baseball. So right now, it's just Mondays and Wednesdays. It's me, Kelly, and Chris. And then we're going to go back to Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I believe, starting August. And we're going to preview NFL futures, and we're going to preview college football futures. We're going to just start really diving into football, have some new guests on there, kind of format the show a little bit differently. So it should be a good time. Should be able to give you guys out some winners. And, I mean, if Kelly does anything like she did last year, everyone will be up like a bazillion units.
Yeah, those Kelly parlays last year or something. Well, check out Money Shots. That's 2 o'clock Eastern on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel with the lovely Megan. And thanks for joining us on Pick Central. And we're about to go from you to your co-host, Kelly in Vegas. We're now joined by Kelly in Vegas here on Pick Central. Kelly, how's your summer going?
Hey, I think I overcommitted myself. I'm supposed to be on summer vacation, gearing up for football, and, I'm working entirely too hard right now, man. It's just unacceptable.
Well, at least I know you love the football. I feel like this time of year, at least you get to start getting excited. All I see on Twitter, every Twitter account is 61 days or 58 days till football. I mean, you starting to get in the spirit, or is it still a little too early?
I'm in the spirit all year round. The second I can start researching and figuring out what my initial moves are going to be, right? College football is kind of a different animal than NFL. NFL, I kind of sit back, wait, free agencies to close, OTAs, make sure nobody gets hurt, arrested, anything crazy happens before I make my bets. But, I mean, I've been working on NFL for almost a month now. My notebook's pretty full of all my notes and things to look for, teams to play against in certain situations. And I just got my Phil Steele catalog yesterday. I feel like I was the last one on the planet to get it. So I've got some catching up to do this week as far as college football goes. And just per usual, I focus on, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, ACC, and a little bit of Pac-12. And, it's Pac-12 shaken up, not this year, but here in the near future. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out for them this year. But, yeah, I'm gonna look for a couple of smaller conferences too, probably the Fun Belt, and maybe do a little bit of MACtion stuff this year as well.
Yeah, so I feel like I've been a fish out of water with the MACtion stuff up here at Barstool being such a thing, and I'm not very good at handicapping the MAC, so I feel your pain. Well, let's jump to some NFL today. We're starting to look ahead at the season. I'd like to just hear a couple teams you like that you think are undervalued, maybe a couple you're looking to fade.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype, and it's been really funny about this New York Jets team, right? All of a sudden, Zach Wilson sleeps with one of his mom's friends, and now he's going to win the Super Bowl. Not so fast. I'm not buying it yet. I mean, Jets are going to be underdogs in all but 4 games, right? And yet, the season win total at the Barstool Sportsbook is 6.5. Every single year, my buddy and I argue about his New York Jets team, and every single year I say take the under. And this year's no different, man. I know you got to lay a little juice here at the Barstool Sportsbook to bet that said under, but I think we may see that start to shift. A lot of what I like to do is fade the talking heads, whichever channel, just pick one. It's kind of like every single Sunday and Monday night when all the guys in the bottom of the square all pick the same team and I'm on the other side. It makes me feel really good. And it's not a fade of them, but usually when there's that media hype and everybody's kind of agreeing, I want to know what they're seeing that I'm not. Sure, Jets had a great draft, but that does not correlate into immediate season wins. I think this team's getting a little bit overhyped.
It's interesting. So the Zach Wilson thing, it's certainly a lot of growing pains in year one, to put it mildly. You doesn't sound like you have too much faith in him to take a big step forward in year 2, because it seems like everybody's banking on that.
I don't really have a faith in any teams taking big steps forward, right? It's very rare in betting that we see a team like the Bengals like last year, right? where they took a giant leap forward. You know, you had guys coming off injury. You had a team that had been, frankly, bottom feeders in AFC North forever. And the year prior, they started to show some promise. Obviously, Joe Burrow down, and then everything kind of fell apart. Well, Joe Burrow played his ass off last year, and kudos to him, because the Bengals, of all teams, shocked, I think, everybody in the sports world. I don't know if I see a team that's going to do that this year. Full disclosure, I'm a Denver Broncos fan. That's how I grew up. I will be the biggest Denver Broncos hater as far as the betting perspective.
Really?
Just everybody know that. If you remember, all I did was bash Drew Lock for the last 3 seasons. But I don't necessarily think Russell Wilson is going to catapult this team forward in terms of playoff contention. I do think that the Denver Broncos will win 8 games this year. 9 games is a possibility. And I think that that's something everybody needs to have circled and keep an eye out. Again, I haven't bet it yet because I'm waiting. I want to see what's happening here. I want to know what's going on. Obviously, the Broncos are doing a little bit of reorganization, if you will, as far as their front office goes. So keep an eye on that as well. But I'm excited to see the AFC West in particular. I think it's going to be a powerhouse. The problem is one of those teams is going to be left out. And I don't think it's going to be the Chiefs, and I don't think it's going to be the Chargers. I think the Broncos are going to take a small step forward, but the Raiders might have to take a small step back. I'm not sure that Devontae Adams is going to make that big of a deal to that offense. But, hey, I said the same thing about Odell Beckham Jr. last year. I said everybody pumped the brakes, not so fast. And he didn't get to quite make me eat my words. He had some moments of greatness, but overall, I'm going to stand by that bad take of mine.
Now, I want to touch on the Russell Wilson things. You brought it up. I mean, everybody, a lot of the media just instantly anointed them a Super Bowl contender when Denver traded for him. Certainly has the leadership traits. He's a winner, all that stuff. But why? I'm just curious, why do you have reservations about him in Denver taking a step forward?
Well, I just think that when you have an elite quarterback, you're going to correlate to playoff contention, right? That automatically gives you a leg up, right? We can talk about Aaron Rodgers. If I ask you right now, yep, the Packers are going to be in the playoffs. The Bills, yep, they're going to be in the playoffs, right? The Bucks are going to be in the playoffs. Tom Brady, all of these types of things. I think Russell Wilson is a B-plus quarterback. I'm not willing to put him in the elite level, and that's because we've seen some serious regression over the years, right? Ever since that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, they haven't really been the same. Now, is that on Pete Carroll? Is that on Russell Wilson? Is it on that horrific defense? Particularly since they broke up the Legion of Boom, they have not been able to get him any support. We saw it in the Vikings game last year where they just absolutely collapsed. Again, I am not blaming Russell Wilson for these things, but he had 2, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, 2 stud wide receivers last year. Denver got some guys, right, for playoff work. They got some horses. But in all seriousness, I'm not willing to say that Russell Wilson is going to take this team to the playoffs just yet. I would be surprised to see them win less than 8 games. But again, that AFC West is going to be a gauntlet. And I do think that the Chargers are going to be the team to come out on top there. We'll see how it plays out because it's really hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, now I'm curious, the Mahomes thing, how much do you think the no Tyreek Hill is going to affect Mahomes?
You know, when you have a security blanket like Tyreek Hill, like Travis Kelce, those type of guys that he's been able to go to for a while, we saw this with Aaron Rodgers losing Jordy Nelson. When you have that connection with your wide receiver as a quarterback, it does affect you. It really does. But I do think that Mahomes' off-field issues are going to be more detrimental to his playing than him playing with not a high caliber receiver like Tyreek Hill. Again, he's still going to have Travis Kelce, who I actually think is going to be his number 1 guy this year. And it's interesting to always see that as from a tight end perspective, but it just makes the most sense logistically. They trust one another. They have a good friendship. But yeah, Mahomes is about to have baby number 2. Now he doesn't have a baby mom anymore. He has a wife. Hopefully he can keep her under wraps. But yeah. I got a lot of crap for quote unquote bullying her on the internet. And I'm like, I'm not bullying anybody. I just said I felt bad for the guy. And that's just full disclosure.
Well, that means hopefully she'll be at home. I heard rumors are going to keep Jackson Mahomes away from the games this year too. So maybe they'll.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is what people don't realize. There's a lot of old money in Kansas City. And by old money, I mean the people that own the sports teams there. And I've heard some rumors as well. So we'll see. I don't know if it's actually true or not. But it would be funny if it did come to fruition when they said, hey, you caused too much off-the-field drama. We just don't want you here.
I'm curious, also, last thing, so how do you think, I like to talk some Saints with you. Alvin Kamara going to potentially have a 6-game suspension. How bad is that going to affect the Saints, you think?
Yeah, that's going to hurt. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about why I haven't bet anything yet. I think it was the Barstool NOLA account and I were going round and round months ago. And I said I thought that the Saints were going to win the NFC South. I was going to bet it. I liked the plus money at the Barstool Sportsbook. I thought they were going to go over their season win total. And then, boom, Alvin Kamara. And I'm going, whoa, this is why I don't do this just yet. Now, that being said, I do still like this Saints team. I especially like him in the underdog role. I believe it's week 2. They play the Bucs at home
in New Orleans.
Right now.
I've got that. That's on my maybe
Barstool
calendar.
Sportsbook has them as a 4-point dog. Obviously, Alvin Kamara not being there is built in the line. And you can correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but I think that Alvin Kamara is such a stud. We know exactly what we're going to get from him, but we've seen some falters as of late. He wasn't fully healthy. He wasn't quite connecting with Jameis like he did with Breeze, right? My biggest thing here is not going to be Alvin Kamara. It's going to be Jameis. And that's the kind of information I'm looking for. I want to know Jameis is fully healthy. I want to see him out there during the preseason. And then I'm going to feel a lot better about this Saints bet, and I'm going to be willing to back it up with my money. If you ask me how many games Alvin Kamara is to the actual regular season win total, I would say half a game. And that's just full disclosure. I know that doesn't seem like enough, but you have to remember when there's key players like quarterbacks out, you can actually attribute them to dropping off of games, right? But as far as wide receivers, tight ends, O-linemen, truth be told, they're really not worth that much.
Well, Kelly, any other summer, before I let you go, any other fun summer plans other than just getting ready for the season?
Honestly, I am here in Florida right now helping some family members get situated. My dad just got a new house, so I'm super happy he's taken care of and didn't drive me to drink. Moving him in. We only got in like 3 fights and hit a carport, but everybody was sober. It was a fun time. And then I'm headed back to Vegas here in mid-August and really going to gear up. We've got a Wager Talk party there, and I can't wait to see everybody. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got on the agenda. I really wanted to hit Saratoga, and it just isn't going to work out, unfortunately. I kind of overcommitted myself, and I do that a lot. And
I'm very guilty of that one as well.
I think the big thing is we're out here living our best lives, Vince, and, people really, I think, enjoy seeing us having a great time, especially you. You've been on a hell of a run. But I think I'm with you. I think we do need to go to that LSU-Florida State game. Maybe I can't get a couple of my Florida State buddies to meet me in New Orleans. It sounds like an absolute dogfight. I'm curious to see Norvell. I bashed him a lot last year. I really did. But I'm curious to see if he's able to take a step forward with this Knowles team. There were so many moments of greatness last year, taking Notre Dame to overtime at home, to losing to Jackson State, just like highs and lows. Surely this team's got to be a little bit better. And, of course, I want to see what Brian Kelly's going to do in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for us to having to play LSU and NOLA to start the year. That'll be quite rowdy and home field for LSU, to say the least. Well, Kelly, I want to say thank you for joining us here on Pick Central today. And I know you and Megan, Money Shots on Monday and Wednesdays at 2 o'clock Eastern on the YouTube channel.
Yep, absolutely. And then we're going to be gearing up for football season here. First week of August, we're going to be back every day. We're going to have you on. We're going to talk some SEC football. We're going to talk some Big 12. Got lots of special guests. Hopefully we can get some of the boys from Bussin' with the Boys on, and maybe a couple other, Barstool special guests to talk about their teams, and so we can get everybody caught up and ready for football season.
Heck yeah. Well, Kelly, thank you again for joining us on Pick Central, and appreciate both of the Money Shots crew, Kelly and Megan, for joining us me in the show. We're going to go to Chris Castellani next. Before we do that, I want to remind everyone, today, I believe today the final day of the Christmas and July sale.
Today, I believe.
I think today's the last day.
Check that.
I think it's today. So 20% off everything in the Barstool store, Christmas in July. So go ahead in case Ole Miss fans get you some national championship merch. But regardless, what a deal.
Today's the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Today is the 13th. It's the last day.
All right, 20% off everything in the Barstool store. It's over today. Can't beat that. So get there, buy some merch, and let us keep the charade that we call life going. All right, we're going to be joined by my partner in crime from Omaha, Chris Castellani. Going to join us next. We're talking some pro baseball. Chris, how you doing, man?
What's going on, buddy boy? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, always great to have you on. Before we get to Major League Baseball, we hadn't really got to talk since Omaha. I've reflected on that week some in the last few days, and, I mean, maybe my favorite as a sports fan ever. It's got to be way up there, and I know you had a blast too. Looking back on it, what'd you think?
I mean, it was probably the piece of content that I'm proudest of since I've started working here. It was one of these weird, transcendent, I mean this in a good way, snowball experiences where it was just everything, it kept snowballing and snowballing, where it was just like, okay, I'm going to be here for a few days. Okay, they keep winning. Now they're in the finals. Well, now they've won the whole thing. It was just an amazing moment and an incredible experience. It was weird. It was weird coming back to Michigan after all that excitement. Like, it was a week of nonstop, and now and then you come back. So yeah, I mean, the blog I put out was obviously, I think pretty reflective of how I felt, which is just the experience itself was one in a million. There's been multiple times where I've talked to like family or friends, and I've been like, dude, I cannot believe Ole Miss ended up winning that whole thing. Just an incredible time.
Yeah, I look back on it too, and I just wanted to see Ole Miss play in Omaha on my bucket list because I couldn't go in 2014 when they made it. And so just getting to see them at Omaha, I was so happy. And then they just go and win the whole damn thing. And now we're sitting here, 3 weeks later, and I'm reflecting on it, or I guess 2 weeks later, and I still, it's one of those things in sports that I look back and just, did that really happen? Like, are we sure this wasn't like a simulation or an illusion or a dream? I've got Tim Elko and Kevin Graham Friday for one last interview, wrapping up the season and the story and journey that I'll have up on the Barstool blog. That should be a lot of fun. But, man, it was such a special time having you there. And, the Ole Miss fans loved you. Omaha did too. It's, I can't say enough. Omaha, TJ says it all the time. Omaha is a magical place, and I think you got that vibe.
Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was incredible.
Well, so now you're back into Michigan. It's dog days of summer, obviously. We've been following the Tigers' content. It's not necessarily been the most fun season. The pitching staff's pretty good. They just can't score runs. But what else is going on these days? What are you up to?
Well, obviously, I'm tethered now to the Money Shots crew, which is awesome, and I love going on there and talking. I've been watching and consuming a lot of baseball over these last several weeks. Especially since coming back from Omaha. Got some plays today. I think we're reaching a part in the Major League season now because it's such a grind, right? 162 games. I think that we're reaching a part in the season where you kind of know the contenders from the pretenders, and I think that with this expanded postseason, as of now, and we'll see what happens, it's working to perfection because Major League Baseball, what they want is more parity. They want to avoid tanking, and right now you have, I believe, 20 teams that are, within 3 spots of, 3 games of a playoff spot right now. You basically have 20 teams out of 30 that are in contention. You have teams that are 500 that are fighting for a playoff spot. I think that we're getting to a point where you're going to see teams really making a lot of moves at the deadline to bolster their roster because you win, you get in, you can win it. We've seen it over the last couple of years, and with the expanded postseason being what it's going to be, I think that we're going to see a lot more moves at this deadline. Well,
I kind of run through some of the pennant race, and the AL East right now is so strong. The Baltimore Orioles have gotten red hot, and that entire division, is fighting for the wild card.
Yeah, and this was breaking news right as I called into the show. The Toronto Blue Jays just fired their manager. Charlie Montoyo got canned. So, this is to talk about how competitive that division is. Coming into the year, they were pretty gung-ho about him as a manager. They were my World Series pick, but as good as they are, they've underachieved. I think that a rare instance in which you have 5 teams in a division that can reasonably say that they're in playoff contention right now. It's probably the most competitive division in baseball, which is in terms of just, top to bottom. The Yankees are running away with it. I mean, they're 14 games up right now. But in terms of just competing for a playoff spot, there is a possibility we see 4 teams from the AL East in the American League playoffs.
Do you like the expanded playoffs?
I'm not crazy about it. I liked the way it was. I liked the 10 teams. I liked the 1-game wild card. What worries me is that there's going to be those owners and the GMs who are fine with this idea of, hey, we're getting to the playoffs every year. Yeah, we win 83 games, but we're sneaking in. At the same time, from a fan perspective, under different circumstances, a team like the Baltimore Orioles, they'd be excited about the future, but they probably wouldn't care because they'd be 5, 6, 7 games out of that wild card spot. Now we're looking at fans, buying in because, hey, we can sneak into that last wild card spot. So I think from a business standpoint, I understand it completely. I think that when you expand the postseason beyond 10 teams, you reach a point where you kind of devalue the 162 game regular season. So I'm not crazy about it, but I understand it completely, from a business standpoint.
So the Orioles thing, Big Cat made some waves, put $1,000 on him at 400 to 1. Is that a decent lotto ticket, or is he just punting?
I mean, right now it's a decent lotto ticket. It's more than a decent lotto ticket. They can't lose. They've won 8 games in a row, and I think right now what has a lot of people excited about them is there's a general belief that they're kind of 1 year ahead of schedule now. I mean, they were bad for so long, but I think that when you look at where they're at this point in the season, and for the record, I do think they'll fall off at some point. I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team, but they have the best farm system in baseball right now, I believe. You've already seen guys like Adley Rutschman come up and contribute. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this team that for the last 5-6 years was below the bottom of the barrel can be a team that within 2 or 3 years is fighting for the American League East, which is crazy considering where they've been over the last 5 years or so.
Will the Chicago White Sox turn it around in the second half?
No. I there's a few teams in baseball right now that I'm kind of putting a fork in, and that's one of them. I think. I mean, beyond people talk about the managerial hire, and that was a disaster. It's one of the dumbest hires in recent history. But even beyond that, offensively, guys have underachieved. Moncada's been one of the worst hitters in baseball. Eloy Jimenez has underachieved. Their pitching staff I do like, and I think will ultimately be fine. I think Lance Lynn will find his footing at some point. But and White Sox Davis talked about this a lot. They're an unathletic team. I believe I was checking yesterday. I think they're 28th in baseball right now in defensive runs saved. They basically have 4 first basemen playing different positions, some in the outfield, some in the infield, and they've had a lot of injuries. And that's a bad division. That's the worst division in the American League. If they make a huge splash at the deadline, then maybe. But I don't see it. They've been inconsistent all year. And that's the biggest surprise to me in baseball. That's the biggest disappointment to me in baseball because I know they're so much better than how they've played. It might just be one of those random years you kind of throw in the trash, but at the same time, they should be so much better than they are. The talent is there. The execution just hasn't been.
Couple National League questions. Who do you think wins the NL East, the Mets or Braves?
I'm going with the Braves. I'm sorry. Whoa. I take that back. I've been on the Mets bandwagon all year. I'm going with the Mets. I'm sticking with the Mets because I think that the Mets are going to pick up the best trade deadline acquisition they can possibly pick up, and they're going to have to do it without giving away anybody, and that's Jacob deGrom coming back off the IL. You got Scherzer and deGrom in that rotation. Taijuan Walker's been brilliant. I like that lineup. And look, the Braves are awesome. There might be 2 100-win teams in that division. But there's something about the Mets right now that I've liked. I've liked them from the beginning of the year. Right now, they're playing a huge game. I mean, and they're going to have a lot more games against Atlanta coming into this year. That's going to be a series, that's going to be a divisional chase that I think will come down to game 161, game 162. They're going to be there until the very end of the line. That's going to be one of the best races we've seen in a minute. I still like the Mets. I think they're going to make some moves at the deadline to bolster that roster as well. But two teams that I think are capable of winning World Series. Wouldn't shock me if we see both of them going up against each other in the NLCS at some point.
So I'm looking to make a future bet on a team to just get a rooting interest because I'm kind of a man without a home as far as a favorite pro baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the Cardinals 28-1, I know they went through that stretch lately where they're having trouble scoring runs, but I like how they tend to peak late in the year and get momentum. Is that a money punt or what do you think?
No, it's not. I like them coming into the year to win that division. They've really struggled a lot recently. They're a team that always has a good farm system. They find talent, which means that they're capable of making a move at the deadline. I think that offense is better than how it's performed. One long shot, and I was thinking about this because we were texting last night, one long shot that I think has some logical backing going forward, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
Because I was looking at their numbers. They got off to an awful start. They're 24-13 since they fired Joe Girardi. That's a 105 win pace. I think that there's multiple sleeping giants on that team. I don't believe Castellanos, Gregorius, and Realmuto are going to underperform for the rest of the year the way they have up to this point. They're going to get Harper back at some point in the second half of the season. I really like Zach Wheeler. I think he's one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. Nola's been consistent for him. And their GM is Dave Dombrowski, who, speaking as a Tigers fan, knowing from experience, is a guy who loves to gut your farm system and make big moves at the deadline to acquire top-tier talent. He's going to be capable, I believe, of doing that again. I don't know how deep their farm system is, but I don't know if it really matters. Dombrowski's always making moves. And the other reason I kind of like that pick as well, the last two full seasons that have been played, not including the COVID year, the World Series champion has been an NL East team that got red hot in the second half of the season. Last year being the Braves, 2019, you had the Nationals, two teams that had the best records in baseball in the second half of the season. I think that it's possible that the Braves and Mets beat up each other so much that the Phillies come in fresh going into the postseason if they get in. That's the one dark horse I kind of see. They're only 4 games above 500, but with that expanded postseason, if they make a few moves, maybe bolster the bullpen at the deadline, I could see that being a team that sneaks in a little bit like last year's Braves did and gets hot.
Well, Chris, any last summer plans? You starting to look? I know baseball is your time of year. You looking ahead at any Michigan or Detroit Lions football? You starting to get excited?
Dude, you know what, man? The way my brain works, like it will be August until I'm like, all right, let's roll. Like I'm still so locked in with baseball, and like I cross the kind of streams cross there when we get to September because you have both Michigan football, Lions football, and a baseball going on at the same time. I'm not mentally there yet, but pretty soon I'm going to be. I mean, I'm super excited. I'm seeing Michigan football ranked in the top 10 in pretty much every poll. I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat last year's success, but that's going to be a really, really good football team. I'm definitely excited to get some games, both at the Big House and at Ford Field this fall. It should be a lot of fun.
Chris, as always, thank you for coming on. Pick Central. Look for Chris on Money Shots with Megan and Kelly, 2 o'clock Eastern on Mondays and Wednesdays. We're going to open up the phone lines, take some of your calls. It's 1-888-STOOL-22. Before that, though, I want to remind you about one of our esteemed sponsors, Skrill. Skrill is the best digital wallet for gamblers because it was built for gamblers. Sophisticated gamblers use it to manage their bankroll, whether they are playing games like poker or betting on their favorite sports. They manage their bankroll using the wallet, which allows them to pay instantly and securely. It's payments without limits, basically. You can access your bankroll with instant deposits and withdrawals and also draw the cash using your prepaid card. Let's just say Skrill is the best digital wallet for sports bettors, so it's a no-brainer to create your free account right this instance. Make sure to sign up at Skrill.com/Barstool to create your free account and complete the account verification by clicking Follow the Game after registering so you can start using their digital wallet today with Skrill. All right, we're going to start taking some of your calls. I've got to see Mark and Philly on the line. I was trying to get my golf preview. We'll go ahead and get to Mark. Mark and Philly on the line. What's up, Mark? How are you?
I'm doing great, Mincy. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Philly's getting a little hot. How's your summer going?
It's going well. The Phillies, they've been playing good baseball outside of the fact that, they keep breaking hands and fingers on the team. It's like 5 to 6 people have gotten their hands or fingers hurt by being hit by a pitch. But outside of that, I was down bad in the month of June from a gambling perspective. Took the start of July to responsibly take a break from the board, kicking my face in. And after taking time off, clearing my brain, I've decided to go with a one play per day strategy. I was going way too crazy with the board in June. I'm going to act like I've got 2 strikes on me and shorten the swing a little bit. Last night I took the Astros. They almost blew it, but they got the job done. Today I'm going back to the team total well. The Tampa Bay Rays team total over 3.5. It's a little bit juicy. I got it at -120 this morning. They've scored 4+ runs in 5 of the last 7 Rays games, and 8 of the last 11, and 13 of the last 20, and in 3 out of the last 4 that they've played against Boston, they've went over this total. Boston has given up 4+ runs in 7 of the last 8 and 11 of the last 15, and 3.5 is just way too low.
I would say that seems just like an absurdly low number.
Yeah, I know that they have to set the total low because it's McClanahan on the mound and he's a Cy Young candidate, but the Red Sox have kind of a journeyman guy in Winkowski on the mound. So I think 3.5, you're finding way more value there on the team total than on the 7 flat over.
Well, so you said you took a little break. Now you're recharged, you're energized. You just firing MLB every day. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm sticking with one play per day in the MLB. I feel like when I do that, when I shorten the swing, I do pretty well on my biggest plays. Where I get into trouble is when I'm firing off, 5-day baseball games and then 3 night games and doing golf tournaments on the side. I'm going to try to shorten the swing, but then, of course, when football and basketball starts rolling around, that's when I go balls to the wall.
Are you happy about James Harden taking the less money for the team?
Yeah, hopefully the NBA doesn't investigate it because I'm sure that $15 million that he sacrificed, I'm sure our old buddy Michael Rubin, who no longer is technically the owner of the Sixers, the Fanatics CEO, I think that there's probably a under-the-table James Harden $15 million contract with Fanatics if I had to guess. So hopefully the NBA doesn't investigate that. But, yeah, it allowed them to get P.J. Tucker and Daniel House. They're obviously not, like, superstar players, but it's not really what the Sixers need. They just need guys who are going to defend and going to shoot threes around Joel and Harden.
Awesome. Well, Mark, always appreciate you. Thanks for calling in today as I'm running the show solo. I know we'll have the full team back in here soon, but always appreciate you joining us and your support of the show. Tampa Bay Devil Rays over 3.5. Mark and Philly's play of the day.
Thanks. Have a great day, Missy.
All right, we're going to be joined by Rob from Tennessee because guess what? We got the golf's 4th major starting tomorrow, the Open Championship, the 150th anniversary edition, and it's at the Classic St. Andrews. Rob, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Missy? How you been, bud?
Doing good. And just for the listeners, Rob has done golf segments with me going back to Shreveport, Louisiana when this whole thing started, and for ESPN Baton Rouge, and now we got him on here on a Pick Central segment, so this has kind of been a tradition for a while. Rob, I know you took a look at the Open Championship odds. Let's run. I'd just like to hear some of your thoughts for what starts tomorrow morning early.
Yeah, for sure. There's a few that really stand out to me. Particularly with the way this weekend is gonna shake out weather-wise. I think normally, in a typical Open Championship environment where the wind was going to be bananas and it was going to be raining and it was going to be crazy, somebody like Rory would be somebody you'd want to stay away from just because of how high he hits the golf ball. But as well as he's playing and the wind's really maxing out at 20 miles an hour on round 3, outside of that, it's going to be between 10 and 15 every single day. The weather's supposed to be pretty darn nice relative to Scotland weather. It's going to be pretty darn nice all weekend long. Him at plus 1,000, I think is a great pick. Along with Xander Schauffele, with as well as he's playing, especially last week at the Scottish Open, another one at plus 1,400. It's really hard not to kind of lean on him. I still think, despite the fact that the winds aren't going to be crazy, I think you still need to look at golfers that are really good at controlling their ball flight. I think the other statistic you really have to pay attention to is scrambling. The scrambling statistic is the most important statistic at an Open Championship. We're not looking at driving distance. We're not looking at greens in regulation because the average size green here is like 23,000 square feet compared to like the average PGA Tour green is about 3,000 square feet. So you could hit a green in regulation and still need a friggin' wedge to get the ball to the hole. So you want to look at scrambling. These players that are missing greens that can get up and down. You want to look at players like Shane Lowry is a great example. Matt Fitzpatrick is a great example who won the U.S. Open. ironically enough, on a course that was, I don't want to say it was a lot like an Open Championship course, but the Country Club in Brookline, it's not your traditional golf course. And that's part of the reason Fitzpatrick won. So these are statistics you're going to want to pay attention to.
Okay, I want to run through some of these guys. So looking at the current odds of the Barstool Sportsbook, Rory 10-1, Xander Schauffele 14-1, Matthew Fitzpatrick coming off his U.S. Open win 16-1, Rahm 16-1, Spieth 16-1, Scotty Scheffler 18-1, and then Lowry and Justin Thomas are 20-1. I actually heard an interesting theory that Texans, I guess because they're used to the wind, kind of play well in the British Open. We saw Spieth win it a couple of years ago. Do you think there's any validity to that?
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, Texas is typically, produces golf. Look at Justin Leonard back in the day, Open champion, played for Texas. There's definitely a correlation based on the win factor when you're coming from Texas and you're playing overseas. I think that there's a lot of validity in that. Like I said, I think we're going to see some really low scores this week based on the fact that we're not going to be looking at 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds. We're going to be looking at 10, maxing out at 20. So I don't think it's going to play too particularly difficult with respect to the fact that the wind direction is going to be the same on Thursday, Friday, and then it's going to change Saturday, then it's going to change again on Sunday. So that'll be the biggest adjustment they'll have to make.
I'm kind of looking – we kind of talked about some of the favorites. Let's touch – do you have any longer shots you like that you think match up well with this course?
Yeah, I mean, we go back to that scrambling statistic. At plus 5,500, I think Sungjae Im is somebody you might want to take a look at. I don't know how much of a long shot plus 2,800 is, but Tommy Fleetwood, I think, is a great pick for.
It's 28-1, but I thought that too. I actually was looking at Fleetwood.
Yeah, and I mean, he played well last week. He's, he grew up playing in these conditions. It's hard not to pick someone like that. I think here's my tinfoil hat theory. I think that you probably want to stay away from anybody that's been playing on the LIV Tour. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I just feel like anybody who's been playing on the LIV Tour hasn't been really incentivized to practice that much because they're basically all exhibition matches. They're all guaranteed money. They're all it's almost like they're not incentivized to practice and become as good as they possibly can because they're all getting on that baller private jet flying from event to event for guaranteed money. Despite what their odds are on, I would probably stay away from anybody that's playing on the LIV.
What can we expect out of Tiger Woods here?
Man, I mean, that's the question that we've been talking about for many, many years, right? Like, what can we expect out of Tiger? The fact that he's there is a great sign. He seems to look really, really healthy, which is a great sign. I think we all know that we never, ever, ever count out the GOAT, no matter what. I'd love to see Tiger finish in the top 20.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome to see. Just him at St. Andrews just feels so classic. 150th Open. I mean, I'm excited to watch this. I want to ask. I was debating taking Cam Smith at 25-1. Now he's 22-1. I love his putting and the way he can, save stuff. And you just talked about how big the greens were. Do you feel like is that a decent play or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think Cam Smith is a great play, and I'm not sure. I was trying to look at where Max Homa is. I kind of like Max Homa a lot too. Honestly, I think
almost 45-1.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a sleeper pick. I think he'd be a great one. I think the biggest disadvantage he has going for him is that he's paired with Tiger Woods. And that could be, even he spoke about how, I mean, he's very excited about it. You wonder that even at that elite level, how much that excitement can kind of take over, your ability to play the game the way you want to play the game.
That's very fair. Well, all right. Well, Rob, I just want to say thanks for coming on, talking some Open Championship. Good to hear your voice. And, golf's fourth major starting early tomorrow, so make sure you get your bets in today on the Barstool Sportsbook.
Thanks, Vinci.
Thanks. All right, that was Rob. We're taking a couple more calls and get to some picks for today. We're going to be joined by our guy, Dakuchi from Toronto, who's got a golf pick. What's up, Dakuchi? How are you?
What's going on, Mincy? I'm doing well. I know you guys went over some of the favorites tonight, so I'm going to give, or this afternoon, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a deeper look. I'm looking at Keegan Bradley. He's plus of 110 to 1. Sorry, 110 to 1. So he's a real long shot, but he's one of the best kept secrets in the golf world right now. The guy's been absolutely on fire since the start of May. He's got 12 top 20s in. Or 7 top 20s in 12 appearances and 3 top 5s. He's knocking on the door. He's had success at Class Open Championships, a T7 3 times. So I think he's got a shot here. And the caller ahead of me mentioned that scrambling's really important. And one stat I'm looking at is actually 3-putt avoidance. I think that's going to be a massive one to look at this weekend, and Bradley ranks in the top 15 on tour in both of those statistics. So that's why I'm on Bradley, Mincy.
110 to 1. Good price on the Barstool Sportsbook. I appreciate the knowledge. You dropped any other that's your so Keegan Bradley 110 to 1's your pick?
Yeah, I got a couple other ones not to win. I got Oosthuizen top 40. He's minus 150. I think he's a little bit undervalued for the top 40. He plays real good at the majors. He's playing over on the Live Tour right now. I think those guys are kind of getting slept on a little bit. So I got Oosthuizen top 40, and then I got Robert McIntyre top 20. Those are my 3 pre-week looking into the weekend picks.
Hell yeah! Well, thanks for the call. Good luck with your Open Championship picks.
Appreciate you having me on, Mincy. Have a good one.
We're going to join by Nick in Illinois. He's got some MLB. What's up, Nick?
What's up, Mince? Got a quick little MLB pick today. Phillies money line. They're currently underdogs versus the Blue Jays away, but the Blue Jays just fired their manager maybe, I think it was like 25 minutes ago. Not to mention they're 2-8 in their last 10 games. Zach Wheeler's on the mound for Philly, so I love that. He's also only allowed 6 runs over his last 5 games. And Ross Stripling, I mean, he's been good. He hasn't been great. So, yeah, Phillies money line today.
Awesome. Appreciate the pick, Nick. And we're going to be joined. We got one more call here. We got Chris, who's got, I believe, a tennis pick. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Hey, Mincy.
How we doing?
Am I on right now?
Yep, you are.
Oh, okay. What's up, my guy? Hey, I got ATP out in Newport here in Cali, bro. I got the inside scoop. My brother's playing round of 16 right now. Christopher Eubanks.
Okay.
Plus 220, bro.
That's your brother?
Plus 220. I played college tennis with him.
Okay.
Yeah, so he made Newport, and he's playing in like 8 minutes, like 10 minutes, bro. Plus 200, guaranteed lock, bro.
Guaranteed lock. Plus 200, huh?
Guaranteed lock, bro. Throw your 401k on it, bro. Whatever you gotta do, throw it on it, bro. I promise. 8 minutes, it's a lock, bro. You can bet it live too, but once he wins the first set, you know it's gonna drop.
Hell yeah! Thanks for the pick, Chris.
Got you, bro.
All right, we're gonna run through a couple of. We got our MLB picks for today. I don't know if everybody turned them in. Do we have graphics?
I don't think so.
I think there's a lot of people.
No.
To be transparent, today was everybody in the mini golf, little dog days of summer.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Fair enough.
Who
Well,
was here.
I sent in some picks, so we've got those. So whatever that's worth, hopefully something we shall see. I am the defending champ, at least for the month. I've got 4 picks today. I have under 7.5 in Detroit KC. I took St. Louis plus 128, and the never-ending aging Adam Wainwright arm against the Dodgers at home. Baltimore plus 117 is hot, and the Astros plus 102 against the Angels. I'm debating adding that Philly, but I think I'm gonna lay off that.
Who do you think wins this mini golf thing?
Honestly, give me some thoughts because I got nothing.
Kirk Minahan.
Kirk Minahan's good.
Kirk Minahan, Stephen Che. I mean, he was showing his trophy all around Twitter, but apparently he was from when he was like 9 years old.
Oh, he was.
He's up there.
I would have. Young Stephen Che mini golf had to be something.
Dave won the inaugural one, the first ever Barstool one.
So do they do these every year?
No. So this one was done probably like in 2014, 2015. It was like the Boston crew. So it was Dave, Hank was in there. Some names that I can't mention no more. Milmore was in it. Gaz, I believe, was filming, and I can't remember. Oh, Blind Mike was on there. yeah, it's a cool video. So if anyone's out there that hasn't seen it, go down the rabbit hole, see this one first, and then watch a new one.
It's interesting being in the office today. It feels like a ghost town, the content. I think like Nate was like the only other person.
Yeah, it was just you and Nate over there.
Yeah, it's just everybody gone for the mini golf. But I'm looking forward to seeing the content from it. Should be really fun. Zah, what's going on with you?
Nothing, man. So in our world, I am actually preseason's kicking back up. Arsenal's here in America. We're going to Baltimore this Saturday. So anyone that's in Baltimore, look out for us. We're going to the official Arsenal America tailgate party. So I don't know where that is, but I guess it's like close to the stadium, the M&T Bank Stadium type of deal.
Okay.
So we're
playing at the Raven Stadium?
Yep, we're in Baltimore this weekend, and then next weekend we're in Orlando. We're in Orlando playing 2 games down in South Florida. So I'm looking very much forward to that.
I saw a Troop's 2 a.m. tweet. He was coming back to America.
He's on the flight. I don't know if he's landed. He's probably landed by now. He's here, so we're headed to Baltimore.
Can't wait to see Troops. Troops brings the energy into this office,
and then
always.
Also check out Expressions and stuff. He's out with Tottenham in South Korea, which is pretty fucking awesome. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, follow Troops and Expressions. I guess it's OOZ. I believe that's
Oozing. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, nailed it. What can I say? Well, cool. Just want to thank everybody, the Money Shots crew, for joining us today. The old solo show, a little bit different, but appreciate Megan and Kelly and Chris. Love talking some Open Championship. I'm going to be fire. I'm going to get some picks in at Fire Golf's 4th major for sure. I think that's going to be the best sports stuff for the weekend, and I'm kind of getting excited too. I'm going to see some rock and roll this weekend. Zob hitting some dead up Friday, I believe. Dead back at City Field. So, yeah, this is that late summer part of the year where it's time to get the rock and roll in before football starts. But appreciate Zah. Thanks to all our callers and everybody that listens and liked and support the stream. Stay tuned. The Yak is up next, I believe.
Yes, sir. Big show.
Always is.